It's not too surprising for me. Most of my adult life, all of my life, I've been aware of bad situations as far as African Americans and police officers. It's been brought to my attention by my mother at a very, very young age, by my sisters and brothers. Then it became real, 1991. That's when we saw Rodney King. So I've been watching videos all my adult life of African Americans being harassed, beat, tased, all types of things, shot to death by officers of the law. So how do I feel about it? The only reason why I probably watched it was because I have to make comments about it on TV. But the only reason why they're making comments about it on TV is because he's a professional basketball player. So now we're going to try to act like, oh, we're going to care a little bit. Oh, the media, oh, the public, oh, we care about it because we're fans of sports. People don't care because you know what's going to happen today? Other blacks are going to go about their business and they're going to be harassed the way we have been harassed for a long, long time. The reality of that video is being black in America is totally different than being white in America. So I'm tired of looking at videos of the same thing in 2018 of something that I watched when I was younger as a young person, and I've been watching all my adult life. So people today will care, but ultimately it don't matter if black people care. It only matters if white people care. Because that's the reality that we live with, that I live with every day, that you don't have to live with. Your kids don't have to live with. All right? I've been trained. I trained my kids. I trained all the kids that I coached in little leagues. And the kids who I coached, white kids, I didn't have to tell them these things about police officers because they're not treated that way. Now, I would love to see the reaction, God forbid, if it was Aaron Rodgers. Man, if this was Aaron Rodgers, then I believe something might happen. But no, this is just Sterling Brown, just another black guy. Nothing's going to happen. And save it how much people really, really care. Because I know what people care about. They invest their time and their resources. It's no different than our kids at school. We say that we care, and we keep watching them die every day. We say we care about police brutality, and it happens every day. And what do? We do nothing. Because most of the cases, you can't even prosecute the officers. So in this case, let's see what happens in Milwaukee. Let's see if these officers are prosecuted at the full extent of the law. I just challenge white people today. I want you to go to a drugstore. I want you to double park your car. I want you to go in and buy something. And I just wonder, what is the probability of you ending up on your face and end up getting tased? Not real high. But obviously, if I decide to do something like that today, the probability is a lot higher.
Listen, your point on what if it were Aaron Rodgers, it's implausible, if not impossible, that this happens to Aaron Rodgers. Because, listen, we just know there's two sets of laws. There's laws that I get to live by, and there's laws you get to live by. You and I were talking before the show. I at times, sometimes at inopportune times, can have a bit of a smart mouth. And we were talking about if you and I were riding together, and if we get pulled over by the cops, what you would say to me about how I would normally conduct myself, as opposed to how I'm going to conduct myself with you next to me. And not because you're Cris Carter, just because you're a black man in America. But anyone thinks that, I'm glad we're playing the video. Maybe there'll be a few people that it shocks them into a realization. But we can just leave it to athletes for a moment. Professor Lou Moore did a great chronology via newspaper articles. This 1939, Jackie Robinson, traffic violation, gun pulled on him. Jackie Robinson. 1974, your friend Lynn Swan, a red light violation, gets beat by the police. Mid-1970s, Bill Russell in Los Angeles, traffic violation, gun pulled on him. How about just a few years ago in New York City, Thabo Sefolosha standing outside of a club with an altercation he's not involved in. He gets a nightstick to the shin bone and gets it shattered. People don't care. And I will go one step further with it, because this is what is so disheartening. It's worse than people not caring. Since these videos, you mentioned the Rodney King video, but there has been a proliferation of these videos in the last 5 to 6 years thanks to these, right? Thanks to camera phones and cell phones. According to every reputable polling source, white Americans' approval of the police has gone up in this time frame. not down. So the question that is asked is, are the police in these instances acting unlawfully? That's one question. Another question is, are they doing what the communities are actually asking them to do? Are people actually okay with, for black Americans, misdemeanor, if that's not even a crime, double parking, it's a ticket, it's a violation, being punishable by beating, by shooting at times? Because I know what people's response will be. Well, don't double park your car. We theoretically have a system of laws in place in this country where if you commit a crime, you go to trial, you can get, none of those are summarily executed in the street or tased and beat by a half dozen cops because you committed a parking violation. And I just want to add one other thing, because you mentioned the police aren't going to be punished or haven't been punished. They haven't been fired. They haven't forget being prosecuted. They're all still officers. I hear a lot of people very often say, hey, we all know we have a few bad officers. Few bad apples is how it's put. But let's not lump them all into it. And I can buy into that. But I would request, I would implore, I would beg all the good officers out there, you're allowed to say something. You're allowed to report the bad apples, if you will, because I would argue they make your job more dangerous. The more people are afraid of the police, the more people are on edge around the police, the more at risk the good, well, the good and the bad, but the good officers are. And so I don't know what it's like to walk in your shoes, see? I have an idea of what it's like to be afraid for my son, but I don't know what it's like to walk in your shoes. But was I surprised? How could you be surprised? It's America in 2018. I don't know how you could be surprised by that happening to anybody, whether he's an NBA player or not.
I don't want to say what surprised me, but what was very interesting is that he immediately, or shortly thereafter, or as this has sort of unfolded, decided to use this as a teachable moment, if he could. He said, this experience with the police department has forced me to stand up, tell my story so I can help prevent these injustices from happening in the future, which sounds great, and it's wonderful to believe that way and think that way, but we keep hearing these stories happen over and over again. Does he have a responsibility as an athlete, Cris, to somehow share his story over and over? Is there anything that will change by him doing that?
Nothing's going to change, Jenna. Like, they can stop fooling themselves, all right? Why, as an athlete, should I have more responsibility than other citizens?
Just because people are listening. This story is going to be shared more because he is an athlete.
Is Sterling Brown, is he more important? Is his life more important than anyone else that's died or been? No.
It's not.
No, so, no, I'm not going to put the responsibility on athletes. You know the reason why? Because athletes aren't in control. They don't control the laws, all right? They don't see what's put on the bill for people to vote on. No, the pressure is not on athletes. The pressure is on the same people that's been on for 50 years. It's on white people, all right? All right? Stop locking black people up. Stop harassing. Stop profiling. You know, because after today, Sterling's going to say his piece, but you know something? I got 7 brothers and sisters. I got a mother. No matter where they go, they're going to be damn terrified. You know the reason why? Because of white officers and them harassing them. And to think that some basketball player is going to stand up and it's going to change their life of my nieces and my nephews? No. You know my niece today, Pierre? She's going to go somewhere and her husband, they're going to be terrified if they get stopped. My nephew, my great-nephew, Tyler, you know what's going to happen to him? Not Sterling Brown. He's got a platform. My nephew, Tyler, don't have no platform. So, no, let's stop moving the burden on professional athletes. No, it's not their burden. It's up to white people to be able to change something.
The people in power obviously have the responsibility to make a change if they want to. And the last thing I'll say is this. For as long as there have been police in this country and black people in this country, black people have said the police treat us differently. And for an incredibly long period of time, white people, either publicly, politicians, newspaper editors, or just your neighbor, said, we don't believe you. We don't believe you. Prove it. And then everyone got these phones. And it started being indisputable. It started to be provable. And what was, in general terms, the white people in power's reaction to it? To double down. Well, act better, comply, don't break the law, don't have a broken taillight, don't double park. Instead of saying, oh my God, we are so sorry. We didn't know what it was like. We're sorry we didn't believe you. And so if countless videos aren't going to change people's opinion, with respect, whether that was Sterling Brown, Giannis, or Chris Middleton, his teammate, who's going to join us shortly, or if it was Cris Carter walking out of the building today, nothing's going to change people's opinion on this unless they want it to be changed.
I'm going to tell you what's going to change. We're going to move on from this topic. We're going to change to something else. And I'm going to go about my life and my family's life, and it's going to be exactly the same damn way. That's what's going to happen.